Okay, hello there and welcome back to Forza Horizon 5. We are once again being made to do one of the longer races in the game in order to get some of the championship points. Now this is the Colossus this time, the long road racing events. And we're already getting pushed around the track by the AI. Fantastic. So this is a one and done. We need to win it and then we will get the Corvette E-Ray, I believe it was. So presumably an electronic version, or electric version. Ooh, I really need to break the four corners. An electric version of the Corvette Stingray. We've got a long way to go, so I can catch up so long as I race properly. But early signs, not good. I do have this Maserati that is tuned up, but I don't know exactly how I tuned it up. Yeah, it's struggling a bit, in the early stages at least, while I figure out what it is that I'm doing and how I'm meant to handle this car. It's rear-wheel drive, not all-wheel drive, so I should be able to get the nose in around these corners. But it did seem to be running a little bit wide. We'll see if you can hold it together. Colossus is a nice enough race, but it does bother me that it doesn't have any nice motorway section on the central road that goes through the whole map. There's no interaction with it, I don't think, or very little. Which led to me to creating my own, like, coast-to-coast race instead that did have a nice long motorway section, which you can race by yourself. It doesn't have any opponents. It's like a time trial instead. That wasn't too bad, despite the wall shunt at the end. We're slowly working our way up the field. We need to do so a little bit less slowly. Oh yeah, we'll take that. That was lucky. We got a fortuitous nudge that actually helped us there a little bit. Hey, I'll take whatever help I can get. We've got a good soundtrack. We're only 13% of the way through. This is another one that takes a long time. It's about a 20-minute race. At least we're using an A-class. Obviously it would go even faster with like an S-class or something, but then it's actually more difficult a lot of the time to pull off because the margins of error are so much less. The A-classes are kind of the favoured class for me. These are also good, but for the very long races it does just stretch out a very long time if you're using like a B class or something, because as soon as you start upgrading like tyres or the engine, then it bumps it into the A class anyway. It might be part of the problem with this is I wonder whether or not I've still just got like stock tyres, because otherwise it probably pushed it into the S1 ranking. But we've had a good sequence through there, and now we're catching up. So we make it to the hill climb part of the course. These two are focusing far too much on each other that they haven't noticed me sneaking up behind, it seems. At least that's my narrative for what's going on here. That is the fun thing in games like this, is obviously you're just racing against AI in this regard. Sometimes you're racing against humans, which is arguably worse. But you can invent your own little story. You can weave your own narrative. Secretly, it's a role-playing game. Instead of... well, you do have skill points, to be fair. You have skill points per car. Cars are your weapons, or your personas. And we have managed to make our way to the front. That's good. We've done some solid racing. This car is actually quite nice once I got the hang of it. Now I've just got to hold it together, which can be difficult when I don't have other people in front of me as a bit of a guide of what corners are coming up. Now that's a me problem. That's a skill issue. Or at least out of the point that we'll just get rammed into walls and stuff. We don't have to contend with the AI around the corners. If I mess up, it's 100% on me now. Which is, you know, not great. Speaking of not great, that wasn't great. I think maybe the brakes haven't been upgraded as well. I don't know, I bet I'll come out of this and I'll check the car and the brakes will be like the full racing brakes and it's all just on me. But it did seem like it took a long time to stop there. I was going very fast, admittedly. This just in, momentum is a thing. It takes time for a fast-moving object that weighs a lot to slow down. Now's the point that I'll probably start getting too cautious in the corners, and by virtue of that the AI might catch up. But they'll catch up slower than if I overcook it and bin it into a wall. So, yeah, compromise. Yep, that I needed to break. There's a few that I'm just trying to get by lifting off instead of braking. I mean, it would help if I'd done, like, practice. But I haven't done this course in a while, and certainly not in this car. It's probably the second, maybe third time that I've done the Colossus. Probably done a few. Not for a hot minute. Or even a cold or minute of any temperature, for that matter. So we get some tight corners here as we cross underneath the motorway. Would it have killed them to just have you go up one on-ramp and down the next or something? I can see them catching up behind me. Okay, that was a decent corner. They always seem to come through it much better than I do, but... Okay, so we've crossed the motorway. We're now getting up to the point where we go along by the reservoir, I think. I've got my map correct in my head. I don't think this one has a through the jungle segment, or if it does, it's right at the end. Maybe it does just before you get to the runway. Okay, I wasn't too dissatisfied by that hairpin. Could probably have just handbrake turned it a little bit and swung the rear out as well, but in case we're just trying to remember to get the power down as I'm going through the corner. Yeah, I'm not pulling out a big lead, but I'm not losing too much of it. It's kind of staying around the same level, which is fine. You know, in touch means they're in touch if I make a big mistake. If I really mess up, then we'll have to rewind, almost certainly, as we... Oh, we're only at the halfway point, actually, so maybe not. We'd still have time to probably catch up, even if we mess up big time. But otherwise, that's what the rewind button is for. Trying to balance between accelerating out and just revving straight into a wall. Because these corners are pretty twisty. This is along the lakeside. At least it would be a lake. This is where I'd put my water, if I had any. And this must be the dry season again. You'd think I'd know the seasons by now, but I haven't paid nearly enough attention. I just do what the game tells me to, you know? Sometimes. Bit late on the power there. Okay, yes, this is the jungle segment coming up. So it's on the back end of the map. Bit of a skid there. I wonder if maybe the tuning is slightly off on this. Or I might have tuned it more for speed at some point. And that's why the cornering isn't seeming too great. Maybe the downforce is tuned down. Or actually, I'm not sure if we've put a spoiler on this, actually, come to think of it. That's probably a good point. Probably would need one, but that would bump it into S rank, I imagine. And it would also spoil the lines of what is otherwise a very nice looking car. You know, a nice Maserati like this. You don't want to spoil it with big wings and splitters and stuff if you can avoid it. Ooh, I really overbraked on that corner, it seems, but I felt like I had to. Apparently you can go much faster through these corners, according to the AI. But I'm not so sure about that, because otherwise I've got a really bad habit of not braking enough. To be fair, I probably could go faster through the corner, but getting down to the speed at which I can safely navigate the corner, I just need to brake a little bit more than I would like, I think. We don't exactly have defined brake points for each corner or anything like that set up. But this is definitely one of the more difficult sections through here. Yeah, because I was not getting on the power through most of that. I was kind of coasting for a lot of that corner because I hadn't braked enough at the start of it. Just meant that I then didn't have much speed coming out. Now this guy's right on my tail, which is never fun. Oh, and once again, now we've overcooked it completely. He'll slide up on the inside given half the chance. Somehow I didn't lose my combo though, so that's nice. Still got some skill points out of it. Unless it's just that there are in cars that are much more tuned for handling, I suspect. Because I was definitely pulling away on any of the higher speed segments. That's happened before in a couple of these races where I've been using a car that's definitely been like a muscle car. And then I've been up against people who are in really like lightweight sports cars. It was like a classic one, I think. So they were in like Hillmans or something, which is really good for going through corners. So I'd scream ahead on the open straights because they just did not have the same top speed. But as soon as it got to a cornered section, they were right there. And even getting past me, and then I had to get past them again when it opened up. So you do get that. I only had 2 cars available to do this challenge in. One was like a stock BMW, I think. And then there's this tuned up Maserati. I have no idea what other options might have had. Yeah, we're starting to pull a little bit further away now that we're in top speed territory. So that might be where this car is tuned to shine. I think maybe I used it for a speed challenge at some point. It's a really nice sounding car too. Oh, but we can't take that corner at full speed. No. Just needs a little bit more camber and then we could. Don't suppose that's a priority of their Department of Infrastructure though. Camber your corners so that people in Maseratis can take them at 250 k's an hour. Top priority, Ministry of Transport. Alright, we go zooming past the golf course. And a sharp right. Which we didn't crash in, which is nice. But we did lose pretty much all of our advantage. It's a case of making sure that I brake properly for some of the corners that aren't intersections. When it's a turn off, then it's much more obvious that, okay, this is like a right angle turn, so I need to brake hard for it. But when it's just a turn in the track, especially with how the map, like the mini-map moves, it's not north-locked. So that's largely because it's also isometric. I really wish there was a mini-map option where it could be made slightly larger, perhaps squarer, zoomed out a little bit more, and north-locked. Ouch. Because otherwise, as soon as you start turning a little bit, it adjusts. So then, if you're halfway through a corner and trying to look to see what the next corner is coming up, it can throw it out of whack. And it's, that corner's not so bad. Oh, wait. It is once I actually turn the right direction to enter it. Always prefer when there's a lock minimap option in games. I know some people find it difficult, so I always want to see what's straight ahead of me. And I do tend to orient myself by cardinality. As long as you give me a cone or a pointer to indicate which direction I'm facing, then I'm good. Like in Truck Simulator, you've got the zoom levels. And there is a nice close zoom level, which you need to have it on sometimes for navigating around towns. But then it isn't north-locked, and that's annoying. It'd be nice if the options were two distinct things. Zoom and orientation. But instead it's combined at the lowest levels. Well, while we've been yabbering away about that, we've been able to hold it together reasonably well and pull out even a little bit more of a lead, so that's nice. Maybe the cornering wasn't the problem, and the problem was we were just overthinking it, and as soon as I took my mind off it by mouthing off about all manner of other things, suddenly we're not doing so bad. Just need to let instinct take over a little bit more instead of thinking about what I'm doing, apparently. Oh well. I guess it's nice that subconsciously I'm better. Oh, he says, yep, and there we go. That's Exhibit A. Focused too much on the racing I was doing again, and bit it into a wall. Let's admire the scenery more, shall we? Almost finished anyway. Under the shadow of the radio telescope up the top. And one last crash into the wall before we finish. Nicely done. Even if I do say so myself. And we get our E-Ray Chevrolet, which we can now use for, I believe, the weekly challenges. We'll get a wheel spin too. What do we win? Not bad. Not great, but not bad. Classic M5. Let's see what this E-Ray is all about, shall we? Okay, that's not electronic. Surely. That sounds very petrol engine, so how is it an E-Ray? Who knows. Okay, I was thinking that by the name, the E-Ray was going to be an electric vehicle, but no, it's got a 6.2 litre V8. Fantastic. Oh, it has an electric motor mounted over the front axle to dish out an additional one. Oh, so it's a hybrid. There we go. Get an ultimate burnout skill. Alright, well, time to turn around then, I guess. Oh, this is actually going to be hard to get an ultimate burnout skill, because it's actually got quite good grip. That's not what I expected at all. We just need to keep spinning. Just keep spinning. Just keep spinning. There we go, ultimate burnout. There we go, sick combo complete. Fantastic. Take a photo at any player house. Alright, so uses regenerative energy produced while driving and through braking to charge the motor, so no need for a charging station at home. Yes, it is. It is a hybrid vehicle. Alright. Well, let's admire the car's lines a little bit more for a start. Because it is a very pretty car. I've always loved the Stingray. It's a little bit less distinctive than the classic Stingray design, must be said. It looks a little bit too much just like a standard Corvette. We're just going to drive down. I said in the last season's episode that I don't drive between races and stuff nearly as much. I might even have cut that bit out of the edit, I'm not sure, but point is that I do not actually drive the vehicles casually enough anymore. And it's good practice, especially if I need to use this in a race or something, get to know the car a little bit more. And it's because you smash up billboards, both for skill points and to make your fast travel cheaper. So they act as your fast travel spots and also give you discounts. So, which is kind of weird, but at the same time, kind of cool. But then you can buy a player house that allows you to fast travel anywhere, and then if you break all of the fast travel billboards, it becomes free. So at that point, I don't drive anywhere anymore. So, at a player house, take a photo. You want to take my picture? There we go. Oh, we have a photo challenge as well. 87 Cosworth RS500 at the Riviera Sprint start location. Well, we'll see if we have one of those, lad. Now, has that counted? Yes, free of charge complete. Okay, win a drag race now. Alright. Oh, it has an all-wheel drive setup. That explains the grip. And if in doubt, we come to the festival and see how we go from here. So, who am I up against, I wonder? Alright, a lot of usual suspects. There's an 877 tuned vehicle in here, and I'm an 834. That does not seem very fair, because I believe I have to win this. Okay, let's just do some tweaking and see. I can't tune anything. Well, screw me then, I guess. We'll see how we go. If we need to, we can always add the ability to tune our downforce or something. But otherwise, also what I like to do in these sorts of things is enable photo mode. And because it gives you the opportunity to take a photo of a bunch of cars. There we go. Only 3 new, because I've done this a bunch before, but still. It's 3 that I've taken pictures of without having to think. Now, it's also probably stuttered my acceleration a little bit, because I wasn't holding down. Now, are we going to take it by a nose? By a nose, alright. There was someone on the far side that I felt might have just edged me, but not quite. The 877 was a very close... Oh, actually an equal. It was second equal and third equal. We were a split second ahead. Fantastic. Time to play complete. There's our weekly challenge done. And we are 14 out of the 40 that we need for the overall season. Interestingly, we have completed the series overall because we racked up so many points on previous seasons. On to the next. So I like to focus on the championships that give me cars as rewards. And we have a nice little hot hatch track. And what says hot hatch more than a mini? In this case, one that's been tuned up reasonably well as well, I hope. And this is an event lab circuit, so as we've observed before, inevitably that just means we take a track and we slap up a bunch of extra walls and grandstands and all manner of other just visual noise, apparently. Not a fan necessarily, but I feel it'd at least make it a little bit more fun. We've just got all these enclosed areas. I do kind of like the touch of having the statues holding up the overhang. That's kind of funky. I do like that. 1 out of 3 laps this. Oh hey, a mini. Fancy seeing you here. Kick up the rear wheel, there we go. Like an eager little puppy. I'm not even sure if this is tuned. It's a 700, which usually indicates that it has been tuned up. But it doesn't have like the rear wing or anything. It is a work, so it's kind of pre-tuned. What is with these walls? And you just got trees sticking through them and stuff too. Like, I kind of get it, but once again, as I said last week, it's all just empty grandstands. Is there an option for full grandstands? I would assume not, judging by how many just have empty grandstands. And at that point it just kind of looks worse. Just adding so many artifacts for no good reason. I'm sorry, but no racetrack is this popular to require this many stands. This feels like we're racing through a tunnel. mean, we are now, but the bush sticking through the wall of it. That's a bit of a clue. If you've got the vegetation sticking through things, maybe just back off a little. You don't need to have everywhere. You can always just put up little guardrails if you want to keep people from cutting corners. Just have a few guardrails. You know, the non-destructible ones. Or just place checkpoints down such that, because you can decrease the width of checkpoints, so you can punish people who try and cut corners. I don't like that personally. I'm perfectly happy with people cutting corners a little bit. It's a calculated risk, because you lose traction when you go off the road if you're in a car with racing tyres especially. This is a fun track. I'm not sure it's actually modified in terms of the layout from the original track. I think this is just a normal circuit with visual noise added. Sometimes there's little tweaks that people do make. I'm not sure this is one of those. So we'll have another lap of just this. We're not feeling desperately challenged at the moment. It's getting dangerously close to the point of maybe I have to think about bumping up the driver difficulty to make this a little bit more exciting. But then sometimes there's races where I barely squeak it out, so I'm guessing that something about the changes that they've made to the track have maybe confused the AI a little bit. Just at certain points, I wonder whether or not they're not taking corners as well as they would have on the stock track. And I'm adapting to that without having to really think about it. But the driver tires are not as well equipped to do that. Because I'm making kind of messy corners here and there. A lot of that first section there is not smooth. And I'm still well ahead, which doesn't seem right to me. They were holding it behind me on the first lap, but now they're all just bunched up a couple of corners back, which usually indicates that I've reached a point where they're just in dot going around a map mode until they get closer and start to exhibit some more driver-like behavior, or human driver-like behavior. I think that the processing kind of gets threaded off. It's a case of, oh well, they're far enough away, either in front or behind, that we're just going to take any of the extra computations out of the equation. Either way, so not bad, but not great. It's a pleasant 5 minutes. And for that we get a 2021 Rimac. So we did already own the Rimac, but we've got one that's tuned up, the other one's stock. Now interestingly, there is a daily challenge which was to get 5 stars in Trailblazers with any Audi. However, according to the tweets, there's something wrong with the description, and for some people, depending on what language that you have it set to, it shows the correct objective, which is to... Oops, I took a side road that I didn't mean to. Just broke a bunch of stuff. The correct tooltip is meant to be get 5 stars in Trailblazers in the electric car. How that gets confused with Audi, I'm not sure, unless it was meant to be a specific electric Audi. But this Rimac that we just won is an electric vehicle, and there is a Trailblazer in the town here that is very short, because there is an accolade for getting 3 stars twice within like a minute. So this is the best place to come when you need to do Trailblazers quickly. Simple as that. Enjoying those drift zones? There you go. Hey, I enjoy tossing you stars. I don't know why the voice and the text is so different. Anyway, that's one of the daily challenges done. Buy any car from the auto show. I should be able to do that, shouldn't I? Actually, we should do the treasure clue first. A cryptic clue, but don't you stress. Follow it to the letter. The challenge now to make a mess, the more you wreck the better. That just hurts my brain. But okay, it shows a Corvette blame Impala. So we need a Chevrolet Impala and braking things. So we have an Impala. It's not a great one. It's from like the 90s or something. It's not what you think of as being a classic Impala. However, we can just break some stuff. We're in the city, so breaking things should be easy enough. There's a lot of stuff to break. I don't know whether or not I need to get a certain combo. I don't know whether or not I need to get a certain thing like an ultimate wreckage. I am playing it by ear at the moment, and if I don't get anything popping up to say I've completed, like that, then I was going to look online. We do have our clue. It's in the part of town where there is the baseball stadium up here. I'm wondering whether or not it's just going to be outside. Or in the plaza around here, maybe? I shouldn't look around when I'm in the cockpit, it's far too jarring. If I get close enough, I do know that it will show up on my map. I should also go into the outside view, so I do have a bit of a wider angle and can look around more easily. Let's see. Oh, right here. Yep, sure enough. Crunch. There we go, 250,000 credits. I'll take it. And with that, we are halfway there for the season. We have our Porsche RSR, so that's nice. So 19 points remaining. We could get that with a combination of event lab things and the speed stuff, I imagine. What's that? 3 plus 5 is 8, and then 6 is 14, and then we'd need 5 more. There's 2 more from the photo challenge. We'd need to either do some daily challenges, or we can do some multiplayer stuff. The co-op championships aren't too bad. They're like a trial, but not against unbeatable things, and you don't have to win, so that's nice. Or doing some of the daily challenges is probably going to be easier. Oh, earn a barrel roll skill in the Rimac. Okay, so I should have been doing that while I still had the Rimac out. I can pick that up again, and then we just need to hit a jump on a weird angle and do a roll. Alright, we'll try that. So I feel one of the better places to try and get one of these barrel roll skills is going to be a big jump like this, where I know that the goal is to get a massive distance. So let's just try and do... Nope, hit the side. How are we going to get it not hit the side? Like that. Hey, there we go. Never a gonna give you up challenge complete. Fantastic. We got Rick barrel rolled. Ah, get it? Get it? I respect them. I really do. I love the puns they put into things. I would love to work for these guys. And on to the speed challenges then. We've got to use Extreme Track Toys, rated S2, to get some speed challenges. The target for this is actually higher than the 3-star, but it's lower than my PB, so maybe? No, not good enough. 14k an hour more. Right, let's try this now. We've replaced the 7-speed gearbox that we had tuned it with a 6-speed, and we've also tweaked the tuning so that we get to 6th sooner, and that the ratio for 6th is higher, so hopefully it carries us through a lot more and gets us there quicker. So, can we get there? No, not quite. So we had a rough corner on that attempt through here. Let's try again. Let's see if we can keep more speed coming through. Avoid the traffic. Get a bit more of a straight line through here. There we have it. There we go. Cleaner lines. That's all we needed on that one. Bit of tuning magic. Bit of better racing. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Now, from one speed challenge onto the next, and this one could be a bit tough because the asking speed is faster than what my PB is. So, this could be interesting. I can't remember actually what it was off the top of my head, but I know that we have a sharp corner here that we didn't navigate very well. So, this is going to be what we do for the next few minutes, and that is rewind. Nope, that was a bad corner. Moments before disaster there. We need to take both of these corners very well. Yep, not good enough. We got the flash, so it should give us the data if we go back far enough that it allows us to review our performance. 254. We need like 290 or something? 300 basically on the dot. Oh, so close. That was hilarious. Almost managed to go through sideways on end. Knowing that I only need to do 300, can we... Yeah, there we go. By going a little bit slower through the previous corner. Whee! I'm just jumping off here for the sake, but why not? That's interesting. I didn't have to do anything, and it just put me back up on the track. It didn't try and make me proceed from where I left off. And we've now got a speed zone to do. And we're actually going to just drive there, because why not? This is a fun car to drive. The F40 was always one of my favourite cars growing up. It's just so classic, and it was the mechanical engineering instead of relying quite so much on lots of electronic trickery. Now, of course, we've got electronic trickery enabled in this game that never existed in the car. We've got ABS and traction control turned on. That didn't exist on the stock version of this vehicle, I'm fairly certain. But I'm glad for it. Yeah, some modern touches. There's no mistake in the fact that when it comes to tuning up this car, that was a little bit wide, but we stayed on the track-ish. It didn't fail us anyway. When trying to tune the car, you don't actually get many options. And in fact, you can't even change the tyres because the stock tyres are already racing tyres. The stock diff is already a racing diff. Now, I didn't actually pay attention to what kilometers I needed. Can we get this in one? No, we cannot. I'm not surprised. That was pretty rubbish. 35k an hour more, in fact. We need to be much better through those corners. Alright, let's go up here, turn around and go uphill instead and see if that helps. So if we get a good run up from down here, we can actually get a better approach if we do well through these corners. Avoid the traffic because they're not ghosted until we're in the zone. Now we can't collide with traffic, which is nice. But we get a good run up before we have to brake really hard for that first corner. Whereas coming from the top, we can get a good speed coming in, but then we immediately have to slam on the brakes really hard. And now through here, this is really unfortunate. This is where we lose a huge amount, and that's still not enough. This is Forza Horizon 4 style speed challenges, because they are chronic in 4. In having the targets be well in excess of what you normally need for like 3 stars. And that's the case with this. This is beyond what is required for 3 stars. This is higher than what my PB is. I'm having to maintain an average speed well in excess of what I'm able to do on a lot of this stretch. And then I've got this corner at the end to have to somehow hold a high speed through, and that's just not working. I mean, yeah, that was pretty rough at the end there, but it seems good until it's not. And that it's that last corner, first or last corner. From the top, it's the first corner. From the bottom, it's the last corner. In either respect, it's just killing the chance to keep a high average. And it's a very strange thing for the category of car that's required. Like, I could change car, but this is the fastest one I've got in this category. The Extreme Track Toys, at this tune level, this is the best that I can do. I took a look at a couple of others. I was going to use an Aston Martin Vulcan, but the top speed of that isn't even what was required in the first one. Now, that said, top speed isn't what we're going for here. We're going for an average, so maybe it's time to swap out the F40 because it is more for the top speed and bring back in something like the Aston Martin Vulcan or Valkyrie for their maybe more modern handling. Or in fact, sticking with Ferrari, we have an FXX that is matching the same category, and its stock tuning or stock rating is above that of the F40, with a bit of headroom to tune it further if we need to. And I'm hoping that the handling on this, it feels better already. So this might be a goer. It doesn't have as high a top speed rating as the F40. That does not matter for this speed zone. We were very slow to recognize that top speed is not everything on this one. We're still not going to get it, I don't think, this time. Nope. Yeah, we just really messed up that final corner. Get 12k still, which still seems like an impossible task. But perhaps it felt really good through the first half. But this is my first run with the car, so I don't know how to steer with it yet. I haven't got accustomed to its handling. If we can then keep it cleaner and get the corners done properly. This has probably got better brakes as well for this first corner downhill. So if we go like there and slam on the brakes and then accelerate out. Now we've just got to build up our average again. We also don't want to cut the corners too much. Okay, that corner was not great. We need to build up our average all the way down here. Can we get high enough? What do we need? Oh, more apparently. New PB, see this is how absurd it is. New PB, still not enough. 2k's an hour more. It's because I skidded on one of those corners. But the fact that that's a new PB, it's well in excess of the 3 stars originally required for that speed zone. It's a little bit absurd. I'm not a fan of these sorts of challenges for the season. I hope that this isn't a sign that they're changing things around to become more like Forza Horizon 4 and how punitive those feel. Because that would be a shame. I guess if I needed a cue to stop doing these videos, that would be it. Because it just doesn't feel good that they have it, the bar so much higher than what is normally required in the game. I don't think that's enough either, is it? No, we slowed down way too much over that final section. 4k's now. We're certainly a lot closer. We could also now tune this car up a little bit, or at least see what our options are. Let's go see what our options are, and I'll come back and try again. We'll probably just change the tuning too, but for that we'll need to change at least the gearbox, I suspect.
A few moments later.
Okay, now the biggest change that we've done is we've given this twin turbos. Apparently that's an option, which is absurd. But we couldn't actually make many other changes because otherwise it pushed it into X rating. However, we have changed the gearbox a little bit. It's going to take us a little while to get used to the added power too, I suspect. Now we just need to try and get through this corner and now accelerate. Can we accelerate fast enough to get this average up? Probably not. I think we didn't do well enough early on. Having said that, new PB, and it's gold, which means we got it. I think by a whisker. Now that we've got the speed challenges out of the way, time to get back to some racing. And we've got to put our Lamborghini through its paces once more against a field of Dodges and Porsches and other Lamborghinis that we are becoming a little bit more intimately acquainted with than we would like through those corners. I was tempted to pull out the Porsche RS2 that we got last season as well, because that looked like it could be a goer. But the Lamborghini's already tuned and painted up, so we may as well make the use of it. And we're not handling it very well, funnily enough. It is a little bit disruptive going from a hypercar with rear-wheel drive to a supercar with four-wheel drive. Ooh, that wasn't good. But again, all-wheel drive, remember. Brake harder, accelerate faster. That's what you do with these things. Don't wash wide in the corners. This isn't even a corner section through here. Keep the power down. Looks like this is a similar car to what I'm driving. Just a touch to let him know I'm here. Yeah, brake reasonably hard and then we can just accelerate through. Probably pushed him off his line slightly, but hey, you know, he does that to me. Fair's fair. Did not brake nearly enough to do that corner well. Basically did the corner, but about 10 meters further along than I should have. And therefore didn't accelerate quite when I would have optimally done so. And we missed that corner completely. But stayed ahead somehow, probably because they braked so as not to collide with me, but I'll take it. And this will be the first race in the bag. This went reasonably quickly, it feels, for a sprint. Oh, that was rubbish. Okay. Hold it together. Just need to last until the line. There we go. Very messy, but hey, we got there. Well, on to the next sprint. And we'll see if we can basically put the championship to rest immediately, or we'll have to do the third race regardless, but of course everyone's overtaking us at the start. It does bug me that, I don't think I've pointed it out before. In many racing games, if you are leading a championship, you will get pole position. You will start at the front on the next race. However, in this, not the case. You start at like 8th position no matter what happened. It's just very bizarre. It's not affected by car rating seemingly or anything like that. It's just, yeah, you start mid to, well, the back of the middle of the pack regardless. Which seems very strange. It would be nice if there was just an option for, like in the gameplay settings, just have an option for championship standings affect race position, or race start position, or something like starting position. Yeah, a fairly clear option to have. And then it's a case of, well, if players want to be able to have the championship represent, then they can. Because I get it, it's a case of, oh, this was a rubbish corner. I'm going to rewind that because I feel that I need to do good corners on this lap. Let's brake a little bit more before this corner. That's much better. Yeah, I get it, because otherwise if you start at the front and just zoom off, then it's a bit less interactive and some players might like the sort of combativeness. What the hell was that corner? The car just seemed to skip a little bit there. I did go a little bit off-road, which wouldn't have helped, but it just seemed to skip a little bit, which is weird. Not sure what would have influenced that. Oh, it's just skidding around over the place. That's weird. Is my tyre pressure too high or something? I wonder. Maybe the tyre pressure's too high and it's just skipping around? Seems weird. Not normally a problem. I'm just going to have to take it easy through here, it seems. We're still staying in touch, which is nice, but it just feels that as soon as I start to turn a little bit too sharply, then the car just gives way and I skid. Like so. Admittedly, that wasn't a very good approach to the corner anyway, but it certainly felt like I'm trying to get past this guy, so I can't just tuck in behind him, because I need to be able to get past. Now, let's guess that's not happening. Yeah, he's just blocking me. Okay, there we go. Second is fine. Would have preferred first, but yeah, the car was behaving a little bit weirdly back there. Never mind. So before I start this race, I want to take a look. Yeah, we've got 8th place that we are starting in. The guy that we need to beat is starting at the top spot. So that's a bit rude. I feel that if I'm having to start near the back because they're not honouring the championship standings, then it should at least be a reverse grid and they should also be starting at the back. So I need to work my way past all of these guys just to get up to contend with the dude in the top spot, who apparently is able to sail through these corners like they ain't nothing, and we're having to deal with all of the other people in the way. It's a little bit bizarre, and they are just pulling away because they're not having to deal with anyone else. And we're trying not to skid around the corners. Well, we're going to have to really race our brains out on this one, I think, because one, they seem to have a really good drivatar, and two, we need to win this race in order to win the championship. Which is annoying, but it didn't seem like I could really do much better. Oh, that was terrible. Got distracted for a second there. Didn't seem like I could do much better last race. I guess I should have actually restarted last race and tried to do better. Oh, I'm having to deal with this guy. It's just annoying. Oh, nice. This is so annoying that I now have to deal with this guy in front of me when the other dude managed to start ahead of him. Okay, no, we did not brake when we came out of the rewind. Okay, there we go. Let's just get through there. Okay, now I'm just going to power through those, cut the corners. I'm just going to do whatever the hell I have to do to hunt this guy down. That wasn't great either, but it's right there. We'll cut what corners we have to. I wonder if we can just give this guy a bit of a nudge. Yeah, so this is what we had to put up with. We're running out of track very quickly. This is not a very long race. I mean, it is a sprint, so... Bam! We're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. So now someone else is probably going to win. This guy's probably going to win, unless I can somehow just get through these corners better than him. But at least it's not the other guy. That was extremely rude, but I don't even feel bad about it, because that was just some BS by the game. Yep, so we came second to another Lamborghini, but we won the championship. By any means necessary. And we get an NSX, which I think I already have. But more importantly, we get 5 points. Alright, let's try and get this photo challenge out of the way. 87 Sierra Cosworth. I'm not sure I actually have that. So that's interesting. Let's see whether or not that is something we can get from the auto show. Ford 87. Where's 87? 87 Sierra Cosworth. Auto show, yes. Well, one of our daily challenges is to buy a vehicle from the auto show, so I guess that this covers it. And it's only a $66,000 car, so alright. Money well spent, I feel. No, we'll just go with a normal colour. Black's fine. Let's just move on. Right, we have the car. We're at the right place. We can't see a damn thing, but it doesn't matter. We'll get our point. There we go. Right, event lab time. We have a BMW i8. We'll see how this fares against the others, but it had higher acceleration than my other option, which was a Lamborghini. A different one, not the same one that I was racing. Different category, apparently. This thing's not great through the corners. I mean, it is an executive vehicle more than a race car, and we're up against Porsches, Lamborghinis. Oh, and another i8. I'm not surprised that the Porsche trio appear to be taking it away from us at the start. These are some nasty corners to get through. Otherwise, not a bad looking track, I feel. This might be another one that someone has essentially based on a real-world raceway. It did have a proper name. I didn't pay attention to what it was. Eagle something, I think. I don't know. It is an interesting racetrack. It's just one that I have to pay attention to a little bit, which is fine. I would have appreciated something easier, but it's fine. And at least it's a one and done. We don't need to worry about any championship shenanigans and standings and things like that. Oh, minute 20 or so for a lap is pretty nice as well. That's not too bad. And now we don't have to deal with other people. Maybe we can improve on that. Not if we corner like that, we won't, but the thought was there. we're running into the problem here that because I don't have the people in front of me, that's how I was judging where I was braking for those corners previously, and now I need to figure it out for myself. It's another one of those, there was a case last week of one where I just had to pay attention because there's a corner after another corner sometimes, and that means that your natural instinct is to accelerate through the apex of the corner if you're going onto a nice straight or something. Like through here we can kind of do that. We can accelerate through, and then we have to brake for this corner following on. But when you've got another corner directly after, like up here, then we've got to be careful. We brake, we go through, but we don't accelerate too much because we're just going to have to brake again to go through that corner. And there's some more severe examples in this first twisty section up here, where there's like 3 or 4 in a row that we're having to be very careful about how we navigate through. So there we go. That was better. We just kind of kept a little bit of acceleration on through the corners. Turned it into kind of one sweeping bend instead. Okay, a little bit off still there, but much better than our last lap, so we'll take that. If we can get a bit of improvement on this lap versus our last one, then I'll be happy with that. Okay, we accelerated way too late on that. We could have powered out of that corner a lot earlier, I think. This is kind of not a corner through here. That's just a slight little chicane. This here we can really get the power on through here, which is good. Interesting, we've got like meter markers for this corner, but I haven't noticed them for any other whatsoever, so I'm not sure why that one gets special treatment. Maybe they were working their way backwards and then gave up because they couldn't be bothered. It's a nice touch. Oh no, there was some up here. Okay, I lied. I just wasn't paying attention. There we go. That's that one done. And now we just need to do one more daily challenge to get our last remaining point. Right, so now we need to get 3 lucky escape skills, which I believe is from getting a drift while doing a pass. I don't know if that counted. Seems not. How about that? We didn't get a pass skill for either of those things. That's annoying. That was a trading paint skill instead, which is not going to help. Near miss. There we go. Lucky escape. So near miss plus drift equals lucky escape. And that, I feel, was another one. Great near miss. Daredevil. Lucky escape. Good. Count your lucky stars complete. Fantastic. And that should be all we needed. 40 out of 75 points. And we get another ASL 65. I'm fairly sure I already own one of those, but still, it's nice to have, isn't it? And we've completed the series as well. We're a little bit minimalist on a couple of these seasons just because we were trying to get them done and trying to avoid doing the multiplayer content such as the trial, because that's just a bit stressful. Anyway, that's another series in the bag. Coming soon, we have Retro Wave, which does sound cool. Apparently a new radio station. I don't know if I'm going to be allowed to have it on stream or on recordings, but we've got a new radio station, new highway decorations. I guess we'll see more things in Event Labs. Yeah, Event Lab props and new cars. So we'll see what the new cars are. The other things I'm not sure are going to be very consequential. All that and more starting next week, probably similar sort of time. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.